There you go. Sounds working now. Let's start this over again. Hello, creators. How are you guys? It's great to hang out with you as we do every Tuesday here on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast episodes. We are there, and we love diving into this stuff with you guys every single week. Now, today, we are live streaming this like we do. If you're watching the live stream here, it's a Monday. We do these every week at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and at youtube.com/video creators. And it's just a good time for us to hang out here in the chat. I see all of you guys. Yes, I started a live stream without audio, but we got it fixed and got it started all over again here. So that's the joy of live streaming. You just never know exactly what's going to happen. At least for the podcast people who listen to this later, at least I can edit out stuff like that, so they get just the good stuff. But so what we try to do here every week is one of two things, and today we're doing the second. But one, I'm reading literally there's over 1,000 blog posts I go through every week just to stay on top of what's happening on this online video space and this industry, what's changing, because there's so much to keep up with now. There's YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and Amazon and Twitch and LinkedIn and Pinterest is in the video game now too. Like, there's just so much happening, and so sometimes we try to kind of come together and I bring you up to speed on all the latest things, all the latest changes that are happening in the online video industry, so that you and I as creators can stay on top of our game and we can continue to reach people, change their lives, and not get left behind as such a fast pace of developing. Now, there's sometimes though, when I'm doing these live streams, we're actually talking about like a training of some kind. And today I would kind of merge those two together. Today is like around different topics, but it's based on all of the information I bring to you guys in previous episodes and previous live streams about everything that's changing. And as you know, and I work with, a lot of different clients. In fact, our team at Video Creators just ran all the numbers a few weeks ago. We have helped our clients gain 14 billion views and 61 million subscribers, all through organic traffic, and organic means no paid stuff thrown in there, which has been awesome. But that doesn't happen just by figuring something out and then sticking with it for 16 years, right? Especially in this space where it's changing so fast all the time. Like, the things that we used to teach last year are not necessarily the things that still work this year. And what I want to do is talk with you guys about some of the top experiments that I've been doing over this past year. Some of them you might have seen. Some of them you might have heard me talk about already. Some of these I haven't actually talked about publicly yet, only with my own internal team and with some clients that are working on something similar. Is I see some of the things that they're working on that's working for them. And so none of these are like, this is the way you must do it, but I do think the overall principle that I want to communicate with you guys here is that it's very important that we all are always testing. We're always trying new things. We're always willing to reinvent ourselves. We're always looking for other ideas that may work better. And if you stay on top of what's happening in the industry with podcasts like this and live streams like this, you're Video Creators, you start to kind of pick up on some of the nuances. But I know so many channels, they were so huge and had rapid growth, seeing a lot of success a few years ago, are now in decline, usually for a lot of different reasons. But one of them is because the things that worked 2, 3, 4 years ago are no longer the things that work today. And so there's more competition, right? And so to stay on top of the competition and everything, we always have to be experimenting. I don't care how big you are or how little you are. You always must be testing, experimenting, trying new things, and evaluating what works and what doesn't work. And I don't think you can do that on a small scale either. And by small scale, I don't mean you can try. I mean, you can just try something in one video. But the way I'm doing my tests, and I want to talk you through the top 7 that actually had success, because a lot of them didn't, right? So we could maybe do a whole nother episode about all the tests and experiments I did that didn't do anything. But I figure it'd be more valuable for you guys to talk about the things that I tried that did work, so that some of these things you can take and experiment with and use them on your channel and with your audience. So, but what I mean by like at scale is none of these experiments are like just a one-off video. I don't think we can, there's too many variables to consider for us to just be like, oh, I tried it once and it didn't work. Or I tried it once and it worked really well, so now that must be true for everybody. These are things that I have tried over a series of content, multiple videos. I usually go for 10. I test the same thing consistently, and I try in as controlled type of analytical environments I can through YouTube groups. And so the process here is I have an idea, and then I do it across usually around 10 videos. We put all 10 of those videos into a group in analytics, and then we also have another group. If you're not familiar with groups, by the way, go to your analytics, upper right corner, there's a little drop-down menu says groups, and groups you can like group videos together and look at all the analytics of those those videos collectively together. And then I use the comparison button in your analytics to compare a group of like this is the experiment with here's another 10 videos. That's the control. And so what's the difference happening? Because if you do just compare one video to one video, there's too many other variables to consider, such as like, oh, well, that video went big on Reddit, so that, you know, doesn't really count. You know, that's an anomaly. Or if this video just happened to have, like, it just got published at the wrong time, or the thumbnail just wasn't that great, or something like that, right? So I usually do a group of 10 videos, one experiment, and then I take out the top performing video and the bottom performing video of that group of 10, so it leaves me with, sometimes I take out the top 2, bottom 2, depending on what the variables are, but or like what the variants are between the top performing and bottom performing. But the minimum, there's like, okay, we took out the top performing, the bottom performing, there's at least 6 to 8 videos left. And then we do the same thing with our control. Take out the top and the bottom so that we're as best as we can doing an apples to apples comparison. And then we just look at the data and see what performed well and what didn't perform well. Should we keep doing this experiment? Should we cut it out, right? And I have maybe a little bit of a unique advantage too, in that we have a lot of clients that we work with, and a lot of these things we get to work with our clients too, and we say, hey, do you try this in your videos, or try optimizing this that way instead? And so we can kind of see, is it just Tim's audience, or is this happening across multiple niches, multiple audiences, or with multiple creators? Like, does this look like an experiment that's worth like talking about publicly and sharing with some of you guys? And so I've got 7 of them here. That seem to be like, yes, this works across various channels, various creators, various audiences, types of content that we've been working on this year to kind of see if this is, you know, if this is something that's worth talking about and doing more going forward. And so what we'll do is I'm going to take you through these 7, but what we will do these, and we'll probably keep doing a lot of these same things next year. But then we'll have a whole new set of experiments for next year, or keep testing these. Are these still true? Are these still working? Like, oh, we found if we try this instead, it works even better. So that's what I want to walk with you guys through. Now, Laura is my producer, and she's in the chat of the live stream for those of you guys who are listening there. And I know a lot of you guys are going to have a lot of questions about this stuff. And so if you have a question, just put it in chat. She's there, and she will be taking all your questions and putting them in front of a Google Doc here for me. And so at the end, we'll try to get through as many of your questions here as we can. And for those of you who are members, channel members, we are doing a private exclusive call-in show for you guys at the end of this, starting at the top of the next hour. And so you can actually call in with your telephone and talk to me live in person, and we can maybe dig into some of the stuff more deeply then as well. If you're not a channel member, click the join button below my channel. If you're listening to the podcast, there's a link in the show notes where you can tap that link, and for $4.99 a month, you get access to a lot of bonus perks on my channel, including exclusive content, call-in live streams that I do for members only once a month, full recordings of the sessions I'm teaching and presenting at different seminars and workshops and events around the country, behind-the-scenes looks. And a lot of you guys who are members, you've already heard me talking about some of these experiments with you guys as I've been going through them. So check it out if that's of interest to you. But let's start with number 1. Now, if you guys have been around here for any length of time, you have heard me talk about this before. So it's not going to be surprising. But maybe what you haven't heard me talk about are some of the details about how we've been experimenting and testing this. So one of the top experiments is, which works better, telling a good story a meaningful story or just giving bullet points about the information or the facts. And I think you guys who've been around here for a little bit have heard me say absolutely storytelling works. Even for not just for narrative entertainment channels, but also for educational, tutorial, DIY channels. Like, can you tell a good story around what's happening? And we've seen that people who can tell a good story typically get like twice the watch time and quadruple the engagement. We have more people more likely to come back as subscribers, coming back and watching more future content. So you're getting more watch time on future videos. There's higher amount of like positive perception about the brand and the creator, and so storytelling wins. But here's the experiment we did on my channel, and we've also been some of the clients that we work with. I actually hired a storytelling coach to come in and work with some of my clients as well, and we've been seeing some like just mind-blowing type of stuff happening in terms of performance as well. But in terms of my channel, I did an experiment. Maybe you guys have been subscribing and watching for a while. Maybe you saw me do this, but you maybe didn't quite notice what I was doing or what I was trying to test. This is back in the spring, like around March, I think. I published 7 interviews with different creators, and I did 2 videos with each of them. With one creator, or with each creator, I would do one video about tell me the story of how you got to this point, or how you learned this lesson, or how you got those results. And I would intentionally sit down with that creator before we started recording, and I would kind of feel what the story is. And the story is always about a character who wants something, overcomes conflict to get it, and is transformed by the process. That's always the story. We love good stories where the point of the story is actually transformation. Not just did the hero get what they want, but are they different at the end of the story than they were at the beginning because of the conflict, because of the thing that they had to overcome. And so I'd sit down, we'd talk about that. I kind of get an outline in my head of like, okay, here's what the hero wants, here's what they're trying to overcome, here's the conflict that's preventing them from getting it, and then here's how they're different when they actually get it. And so I would do 7 of those, one of those videos with each of these creators, and then right after that, I record a second video, and I say, let's just take all that information and put it into 3 bullet points, and let's make it like a really quick 2, 3, maybe 5-minute video where we can say, hey, if you want this, here's what I did. Point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, end it, right? And I don't think it's surprising to you guys, but what I did is I published both videos simultaneously. I wanted them to go up at the exact same time. And so when those videos were published, those 7 different interviews, I published both the story and the bullet point version of the video side by side at the exact same time. And what I noticed was interesting, 2 things. One is if the story was good, the story video typically got, like I said earlier, at least twice the watch time, but usually quadruple the engagement. And thus it got far more views. Some of them, like the bullet point version, got like a few thousand views, and the story versions are still growing, 50,000 views, right? It's still growing. So that it was very clear to me through that experiment, and then we started doing this with clients, and then you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. But yes, the story thing works hands down. However, not all of those interviews, the story didn't outperform all of the interviews. There was 2 of them where the bullet point video outperformed the story, and the question in my head is, well, why? Why did the story one not perform as well in this case? And so when I went back and watched the story video, I noticed, like, okay, if a good story is about a character who wants something, overcomes conflict to get it, and is transformed by the process, this video did not really tell a good story. I mean, I tried, and it's kind of there, but it just kind of takes a lot longer to get to the point. That people don't really care. There's no character development. People don't really care about the character or what's at stake or anything. And I learned a really important lesson, which is that storytelling works great if you tell a good story. If you tell a story that's meaningful to your audience. Just telling a story in and of itself does not guarantee growth. It does not always perform better than 3 quick points for how to accomplish ABC. It doesn't do that. It only works if it's a good, meaningful story. So if you tell the story poorly, your videos will actually perform worse. So very good lesson for me to learn, right? Like this isn't just like, hey, let me make up something and talk about it. This is let me talk something, but I have to put it in a certain structure. I need to get the audience to care about this person, to care about what's at stake, to raise the stakes really high so that the conflict, is really, really understood about how hard this is. And then when they overcome it, the reward is that much greater. So all those things are very, very important. So I'm going to keep moving or else I'm not going to get through all these. I could talk about each one of these 7, like probably all day with any of you guys. But storytelling versus bullet points, storytelling all day long, even for educational type of content, which I will have examples of that coming up next year with a series I'm creating called Creator Stories. And those of you guys who are channel members, I posted like a little glimpse to see what that's like. It is way different than any type of content I've ever done before. So you can kind of see what's at stake see what's coming up. And everyone so far is like, whoa, Tim, this blew my mind. I haven't even seen something like this on YouTube before. And so it's really exciting. Okay, so number 2, the second experiment that I did that I saw good results with is reformatting my videos for higher retention. And there's a lot of different things I've tried with that. If you guys saw a vlog I did a few weeks ago, a lot of you guys are kind of onto this experiment already. But there's a lot of different things I've been testing in terms of format for higher retention, more watch time. But the one that you guys are familiar with, that I want to kind of dig into now because we have like the most amount of concrete evidence and information about it, is reformatting our videos, just simply the background of the videos. So if you guys remember, when this channel started, I guess I was just doing it in my basement. But then like this time last year, I was mostly doing them in front of a black screen, just a very sterile environment, very professional looking, but just a black screen. We put that into a control group in YouTube Analytics. And then we did another series of videos this year of me sitting in front of my couch right here in my office. Put those series into another group in Analytics, and the couch performed better than the black background overall. And so we said, okay, let's do the couch now. I haven't done one on a black background for a long time. If for those of you who are new, may not even know what the black background looks like. And then I said, well, how about outside? How does shooting these videos outside of my backyard compare to back here in my couch? And again, we did another series of those, put them into a group in YouTube Analytics, compared them, and outside works higher retention, more watch time than sitting in front of my couch. All right, awesome. Then I thought, okay, well, what if I did outside videos, but walk and talks, and I hired a videographer to come and do some nice, glide cam, steady cam, gimbal shots with like some motion in the background. Could that better hold people's attention as well? And I haven't published all those yet, so soon, a little too early to tell. Excuse me. But what we've seen so far with the 2 or 3 that we've done is that, yes, there's on average, they've seemed to be performing in terms of watch time and retention about 10% better as walk and talks as they did in my backyard. So again, we still like it was too early to draw anything that I feel like conclusive evidence on there, but so far that's working. So for you guys, number 2 is experiment with different formats of your video and different ways of presenting your value and different ways of like mixing it up, trying different environments. Like sometimes things as simple as that can make a big difference. Number 3, the third thing I tested is I tested different end screen designs. And the reason for this is you look in your analytics, your most valuable traffic sources for your channel in terms of where does your most valuable viewer come from. It gives you the highest average watch time per viewer. YouTube Analytics indicates on most channels that is end screens for people who do end screens well, and 2, playlists. So I was like, okay, if my most valuable viewer is coming from end screens and clicking to watch another video, how can I increase the click-through rate on my end screen to get more people to click on more of my videos, give those videos more watch time, but also increase their overall viewing session on videos on my channel? And so we tried a lot of different things and saw a lot of different results, but at the end of the day, here's what it comes down to that works well. One of 2 things. First of all, you need to get high enough retention to get a high enough percentage of your audience to the end screen in the first place. If your videos are lame, or they're just like not delivering value, or the story isn't good, or whatever the case may be, if you're losing a lot of your audience before they even get to the end screen, then like none of this stuff actually matters. So step number one, actually get people to the end screen. And that has to do with the quality of your content and just paying very careful attention to your audience retention graphs and things like that. Once you start getting people to your end screen, and in my case, like our goal is 50% of the people who click play, are they still watching when the video ends? So we can get half the viewership to the end screen. Then we start optimizing that end screen. And there's two different things that work. First of all, well, before I tell those, like the other thing is you got to make sure that you're eliminating all of the signals that you might be giving that are telling the viewer that your video might be over. You may safely leave this video now. For example, don't say things like, so that's all we have for today. Let me know what you guys think. Don't say like, hope you enjoyed this video. Like nothing, like none of that type of stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Those types of things. Or subscribe, or anything that's like a signal that this video is over. You may now safely abandon this video. Don't do any of that stuff. Instead, you kind of need to end the video kind of a little bit abruptly and leave the viewer thinking more like, what? The video is over? Like, why is it over? I wanted more. And you're like, exactly. There's more videos for you to click and keep watching. And I also learned like the sales tactic, which isn't like really new, but in sales, if you want to increase the likelihood that someone's going to buy something, you need to talk about the product as if they've already made the purchase. Talk about the product as if they've already made the decision to buy your vacuum cleaner, and now you're just telling them like how good it's going to feel when they come home, and it's just going to be really easy just to do one pass to vacuum everything up, and how relaxing it's going to feel, right? You're talking about the product as if they've already made the purchase. I decided to take that and apply it to my videos. What if I didn't give them any permission to leave my videos, and instead I just started saying, now if you really want to dive, like this was really helpful in terms of how to increase watch time, but to really do this, you're going to need to optimize for your mobile viewers. Over half of your viewers are from mobile, so to do that, click this video you see right here on your screen and subscribe here, and I'll see you guys over the next video. So what I did is I just gave, while the end screens were on, and before I gave any signals that the video is over, I just talked with them as if they've already, I'm just assuming they're going to click and keep going. And the likelihood of them clicking went way higher, and I actually gave a little pitch. I pointed to it. My main call to action is keep watching. That's more valuable than subscribers or anything, because like a subscriber is great, but if you can get someone to watch 2 or 3 of your videos in a row, you're just going to follow, like your content is going to follow them all over YouTube. You're going to be in their homepage for about a week. It'll be suggested to them for about a week or a few days, depending on how much they watch. But it's more valuable to me to follow them around YouTube for a while with more of my videos than it is for me to get them to subscribe and just kind of be a passive subscriber. And so that's one way to do it, is pitch. Click right here. Another way to do it, and this kind of worked more for entertainment type channels, is they just, again, they didn't like have this nice wrap up to their story or anything. It wrapped up, but it was really quick. And by really quick, I mean like 5 seconds while the end screens are there. And then they use the final 5-10-ish seconds of their end screens to show a quick trailer for the next video they want someone to watch, with a little arrow pointing to the end screen element where they can click, and the little arrow would just say watch here, and they could click to watch that video. So either one of those two ways could work. We have seen from our clients, for some of their, and even on my own click-through rates, going from around 0.7% to 1% click-through rate to about 38% on some of these. Not all of them, but the highest we've seen is 38% now. So this works way better, getting more watch time, increasing that audience retention, and getting more people to watch more videos, just in how we design the end screen. Very important. Now, the fourth thing we experimented with, and this goes along with the other most valuable traffic source I talked about, which are playlists. And again, they are often worth the most for your audience, for your channel, in terms of average view duration. And so we're like, well, how can we better take advantage of playlists? And we did a few things in order to get more people into them, watching more content. And if you think about it, this is end screens and playlists are the only two tools you have on YouTube to have some sort of impact on the actual viewing session. You get to craft and pitch in a way what videos people watch next. That's the only opportunity you have. So it makes sense that these are some of the most valuable traffic sources. So in terms of playlists, we did a few things. One, instead of treating playlists like categories, like a lot of people do, like vlogs, games, cooking, right? Instead, we treated them, we gave them very enticing, good titles, just like we would do on a YouTube video. And we said, and then we started making them very consumable, so they're not long. These playlists tend to be an average of like 3, 4, 6 videos, 8 maybe, 12 videos if they're really short videos. But just making it like, oh, okay, I got time for this. Like I can sit here and watch that. And featuring them whenever we can, which is interactive cards, descriptions of the videos on the end screens. On the end screen, we actually get people to click. I usually say, I put together this short playlist for you. Click in order to take this next step that you need to take, whatever it is, depending on the video they're watching. Click right here, and it's usually like 4 to 6 videos. So that's the main thing. Just like, can we start promoting playlists more? But then we wanted to take it to kind of level 2.0. And then a lot of people don't realize this, but in your YouTube analytics in the upper left corner, you can switch it by default. All your analytics are about videos, but if you click on that drop down button, you can actually select playlists, and now all of your analytics across your entire your entire YouTube analytics, all that data now applies specifically to playlists. Super powerful, tons of information. But one of the things that we looked at is that once you switch all your analytics to be applied and to be about playlists, on the left-hand side, you can click on watch time, and all it's about watch time is your playlist now, like not individual videos like you might be used to. And then we could actually go to an individual playlist, and in there, all the way at the right-hand side, there's a metric called playlist exit rate. And that shows you exactly what percentage of people who are watching that video in that playlist decided to abandon the playlist and exit the playlist because of that video. Super valuable and helpful. So we just started like optimizing our playlist, the viewing journey that we wanted you guys to take next. And so we would take out videos that were performing really low. We would take videos that were performing very well, have like a low exit rate, and push those up higher in the playlist. And some of them would have like a 90% exit rate. We're like, okay, take this video out completely or put it at the very end of the playlist, things like that. And we started being able to optimize how much time people were spending in our playlist by just looking at how each video in that playlist impacted their viewing session. Okay, so playlist, and there's a lot more to talk about there, but that's kind of a high level of what we did with playlists. Number 5 is we started trying new things to tease content. I mean, a lot of you guys are probably familiar with like posting things on Twitter, Facebook, promoting an Instagram, just trying to like do whatever you can to kind of promote your videos. And we thought, well, what would happen if we actually like for the series that we're making? I don't mean like one-off videos, but like the series like I'm doing on my channel. We're in season 2 currently, about how they got 1 million subscribers. Doing like these 10-part series with season 1 was with Evan Carmichael. Season 2 is currently with John McKnight, who his family has multiple YouTube channels past 1 million subscribers. And we're looking at all the behind-the-scenes tricks, tips, and tactics that they use to get to 1 million subscribers so that you guys can do the same. Season 3, coming up in December, will be with Steven Scherer of 4.5 million subscribers, and he reveals all of his behind-the-scenes tactics too. They actually went to 1 million subscribers relatively quickly. They did 4 million subscribers. They've only been around for 2 years, so a lot of good stuff coming up with him. But so I tried like, what if I made a trailer for the series, for this creator stories? And I made 2 different trailers. One is a trailer that was designed to announce that the upcoming season 2 is coming. And then I did, and what we did with that is when I posted a week before, just, you know, here's what's coming, here's like a glimpse of all the value. They're pretty short, less than a minute, like 45, 50 seconds. Just like, whoa, I can't wait for this season 2 to get started. And then it ends with a call to action to subscribe, hit the bell, and be ready for it coming on, you know, such and such date. The second trailer that we made actually goes up after the series is complete. And the goal of that one, same information, but at the end of the video, the end of the trailer, the call to action is actually to click on the playlist to see on the screen and get into the playlist of that and watch all of season 2 or 3 or 1 or whatever. And so I tried. So the goal is there, like, could we just get people who maybe missed the series to be reintroduced to it? We share those to our community tab and things like that. But I'm actually, and I don't have enough data, probably shouldn't talk about this yet, but just to share anything conclusive. But one of the things we're experimenting next with these trailers is running some paid promotion behind them. One of the things I experienced in my community, and this is normal in this type of environment anyway, but there's just a high turnover. There's a lot of people in my audience who will subscribe and stay subscribed, but just kind of become passive subscribers because they're no longer actively creating, or they're just kind of, like, it's typical for educational channels too. People just kind of wait to see what the next video that comes along, see if it's of value to them or not. And so I have a lot of passive subscribers, and I thought, like, well, could I do some paid promotion to do remarketing campaigns on YouTube, which is like, can I just pay to promote this video and put it only in front of people who are subscribers of the channel but haven't watched the video for a while? Doing negative targeting is really hard on YouTube. There's not like an easy way to do it, but I think we figured some stuff out. So maybe I'll talk more about the results of that later. But then, yeah, so just trying to, like, get that trailer in front of passive subscribers with paid promotion. And then doing the second trailer where after the video is already, or the series is already complete. Yeah, that's the one we're running to passive subscribers. But then the other one where, like, hey, the series is coming, get excited, it's going to launch here next week or something, running paid ads to put that in front of loyal, dedicated subscribers, like people who have watched the video recently and are subscribed and have commented, like the diehard, the people who are watching everything. Can we pay to put that in front of them too? So more information coming about that later, but that's something that we were experimenting or are experimenting with, different uses for those trailers. And I think we'll get some creative, some good tactics coming out of that here pretty soon. Number 6. Now, we also started doing trailers, but not for seasons or series of content, but also started doing trailers, again, like quick 30, 45, maybe even a minute-long videos that tease things happening for you channel members. So I did one like this past Saturday that you can see. Is just promoting the new 50-minute training that I put up about how to 150x your YouTube revenue, even with a small audience. And a lot of people think it's clickbait. It's totally not. Like, all you need is a good business plan, you know? So it's how to 150x your YouTube revenue with a business plan. And put that whole full training up there for people, exclusive for those who are channel members, and they get immediate access to it, and all the other in-depth trainings I'm posting like that as well. All for like $4.99 a month. I think it's a steal. I think it's awesome. But so that's there. But I know, like, it just goes to channel members. Like, what about all the other people who aren't channel members who would find this information valuable and would want it? I don't want to post the whole video publicly for them because this is exclusive for my channel members. So I made, or I had my editor, more accurately, make a channel trailer. We posted that, and that's actually converting really well. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't sure what the response to that would be, but it's a quick little trailer for the whole training, ends with a call to action to join, become a member. It's a little bit confusing right now, and I see you guys who were in the chat were talking about this earlier in other comments of recent videos, which is like, oh, Tim, the link's broken. It's not working. It's like, no, you need to click that link after you become a channel member, then it will totally work. But if you're not a channel member, it's just a blank page. So I've asked YouTube several times, I'm like, I think you should put like a call to action to click the join there and then get access to the content. But it's still in beta. They're still rolling it out. They're still doing a lot of experiments and testing with it. So hopefully that'll come later. So channel trailers for just like content that's maybe not public. If you're using Patreon, I bet the same principle would work well. You know, like I'm doing this upcoming later today here in about half hour. I'm doing the private member only call-in live stream show where they can call me, talk on the phone, and answer questions. And I'm thinking about like taking that full-length recording and turning that into maybe a trailer as well, just to kind of give people a glimpse of here's what's happening behind the paywall, so that you can evaluate whether or not this is for you and if you would like it and this is something that you need. And then number 7, I'm going to jump into some of your questions here. I can see you guys got a lot of good ones. Number 7 is exactly what I'm doing right now, actually. If you guys remember back in the beginning of the year, the live streams used to be a different piece of content than the podcast recordings. And I found that it was getting to be too much for me to personally to both be producing podcasts every week, like their own specific type of content, own topic, and then also doing a live stream where it was very interactive, which I really loved, but I was like, I can't keep doing both of these two things simultaneously or differently. So I decided, is there a way to merge these together? What if I just live streamed my podcast recording like I'm doing right now? I felt a little bit bad because I'm like, man, but I love answering questions and going back and forth. But I actually learned two things from this experiment. By not doing the interaction with you guys who are watching this live up in the front end, one, it allowed me to record a podcast episode that's has all the value that a normal podcast listener would want and expect and not feel like they're just kind of missing out on something necessarily. Number two, it allowed me to combine my pieces of content together and be able to just plan same content for a live stream. So those of you guys on the YouTube channel get the content, as well as people on the podcast who aren't. Usually those are two different audiences. At least if you guys are listening to the podcast here and you are tweet me at Tim Schmoyer and tell me if you actually watch all my videos too. But my impression is that the people who listen to the podcast don't really watch YouTube, so they would miss the content completely. As well as those of you guys who are here, tell me in the chat if those of you guys who are watching live. My impression is that most of the people who are watching the YouTube videos aren't actually listening to the podcasts. So it lets me reach both audiences with the same information, the same content, and so it saved them my time. The thing that and the third thing it was valuable for is actually people who just watch the replay of the live stream. Those people, typically, the audience retention of those is very low because there's a lot of back and forth, and they kind of miss the live experience, so they're not really watching as much. But and so I saw like the retention and replay value of the live stream is really low. But doing it this way, more like a podcast with a live stream, I find that people who are like the replay value has gone up because it's just content. There's not as much interaction and things like that. So yeah, a lot of you guys in the chat right now are telling me, yes, exactly. Not a podcast listener. Alex Animated World says that is correct. You know, Black Sheep's like, you're right. I listen to you on YouTube only. Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying the same thing. Patty Broussard, I am a live stream YouTube watcher. I don't do podcasts. Strixon, yeah, all you guys, see, this is my point exactly. You would, if I made this content exclusively for the podcast people, they would miss it. And the content that I do exclusively for the live streams, the podcast people are missing it. So I combined them. Now, so there's three things. All those things I mentioned are like positives of that switch. There is one significant downside to me, which is a big one for me, which is I actually like doing the interaction with you guys. You know, I miss this. Like I like being able to talk about something and making it feel more like a conversation instead of what we got right now, which is a presentation. So personally, I like it that I can talk about things and we can talk like Q&A more real time and about some of these topics before we kind of come back and revisit some of them. But I have found that overall, though, there's more wins, more cons, more pros than cons, and so that's why I'm doing it this way. And I can still do the interactive piece, but I just kind of do what I do right now, which is then just diving into all your questions here, which is what we're going to do next. So those are the 7 top things. Let's dive into some of your questions. So Haunted Road Media. Okay, Mike, thank you for being a channel member. Really appreciate it. Could testing over so many videos at one time possibly kill momentum your channel may have been gating? Yes, it's possible. But personally, I have many different types of content going up. You know, I have live streams I'm experimenting with. There's sit-down like tutorial videos, and there's more like interview style. And so it could kill momentum, but the people don't watch your videos because of the style necessarily. If you set your channel up well, they're watching you because of the value that you're delivering. And so as long as you deliver the value that they want to consume from you, you could do it if it's through a live stream, if it's through it doesn't matter how you present it most of the time. As long as they're getting that value, there's usually not it kills momentum. So, and the reason I say it could become momentum is if you're trying like drastically different things. And I'm not talking about like change everything over and over and over again. If you're always changing everything, then you have nothing to compare to see what actually worked better or worse here. That's why I'm changing like one thing at a time. Let's just change the background of my videos. How does that impact things? Let's just change if I'm walking or sitting. How does that impact things? Let's do that now for another 8 videos. Let's just change like these little things that I can control that in and of themselves shouldn't have like a huge impact. But one little thing after another little thing after another little thing over the course of a year, and we're experimenting a lot of this, then you can see that all these little things really can add up. You know, oh, this thing adds to 10% more watch time overall. Oh, this thing actually adds to 5%. This thing adds to another 10%. Now you combine those things together, those 3 things combined, now you have 25% more watch time than you would have had before if you kind of just kept going in a rut and not change anything. So it can kill if you change everything, but just doing some of these smaller iterations like this, I think, can actually work better. Patty Bouchard, what if I'm wanting to share someone else's channel in my ending? Would I share their info first and share my playlist? I really want to share some other channels at the end of my next video. Yeah, you can do that. It doesn't really matter as long as you're getting people to watch more YouTube. That's the goal that YouTube has. They want more people watching more content, which they measure in terms of watch time and session time. And so if that's your main thing and you want people to go click on that other video, great. That works great. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to only promote yourself. In fact, sometimes it works really good to promote someone else because they'll go and binge that other channel, which makes the video that you have that sent people there, it makes that video look really good because Google learns like, hey, if we promote this video, people then go on, discover this other creator, and spend another hour watching YouTube, for example. That makes your video look really good. So you can do that. Sailor Drew, how long do you do experiments for to be sure that it's actually successful versus just a random upswing, downswing? Yeah, that's why I said I do them typically across 10 videos. So in some cases, I'll publish all 10, like the series How They Got 1 Million Subscribers. All 10 videos will go up every weekday for 2 weeks. Other times, it's like an 8-week series, and I'll publish one a week for 8 weeks, and that'll give me 2 months, basically, it'll take to kind of see. So it's not just a one-time video. I'm drawing it out. Even How They Got 1 Million Subscribers, because I've been publishing them so close, like back-to-back over 2 weeks, I even want more information. So I've done season 1 already. Season 2 is halfway done, and then season 3 will go up in December. And then I'm going to evaluate all those seasons and see, is it worth keep doing How They Got 1 Million Subscribers, or is it worth keeping it but doing it in a different way, or focusing more on story than on just like tactics and tips and things like that, right? So there'll be more experiments coming with that as well. Also from Sailor Drew, so at the end, should we have a playlist they can click on as well as an individual video to watch? Oh, that's a good point. No, I failed to mention this. Only one thing for them to click on. You're only directing them to one thing, not multiple things, not giving them lots of options. You can have on your screen different things for them to click on, but verbally and visually, your call to action is directing them to one specific thing and giving a pitch for it. If you do more than one, people are less likely to do either of them. So just make that journey, that path you want them to take crystal clear. And I send them to a playlist if I have the choice, and because we have like hundreds of playlists now that we can create, you can create hundreds of playlists, I think 200 on your channel. I don't know if that's still on it. It used to be. But then you have you can create lots of playlists and optimize their titles and things to get people into other videos. Let's see here. Cube Studio, can you comment? Oh, you commented you got 10% more retention for filming outside. Is that worth the extra production? So I said that, but I also said that I'm not sure yet how that's going to actually be conclusively. I've only published like 3 of those videos so far, and I have like 5 more to go. So I need to wait till all of them are done. It's too little data in my opinion. Just look at 1, 2, or even 3 videos and draw any kind of conclusive evidence. So, but 10% across 8 videos, I think is a win. Yeah, I think so. It depends also if you've got, what kind of It does cost a lot more money, obviously, to pull those off. You got to hire someone, and it's a little bit more to edit and things like that. But yeah, if you have a solid enough business model around your content, then it could be absolutely worth it. From point A to point Z asks, if I decided to experiment with content that pushes my audience to take notes and do their own research, what can I do to encourage them to follow through with my request? I don't know, but that's a perfect type of thing to evaluate and test somehow. I'm not exactly sure what you would look at analytically, but maybe even simply running polls. You can do interactive card as a poll and direct people, like maybe you have them say, like just ask and just see and ask them to be completely honest with you, and maybe something like that could, I don't know how exactly. I'm just kind of thinking about this for the first time, but yeah, but that would be something you test, try different ways. Maybe you have like a members only follow-up video, or maybe you have just like a follow-up video that comes later, and you find that helps people be more likely to follow through. Maybe you start working one-on-one personally with these people as clients, and you start paying attention to that and asking them, and you start learning from that. Like I know for me, when I work with our clients, what gets people to actually follow through, I thought it was if I would work with them for a long time, we could get some good momentum. But I actually found the opposite was true. If they knew that they could work with me for a year, they were less likely to actually do the work than if I said we're only going to work together for 2 months, like in Video Labs, or 6 months through like the action plan or something like that. Then there's a little bit more time pressure, and they work a lot harder, and they get much better results because I'm only working with them for a shorter period of time. So just something interesting there. Authentic sound. Is changing the environment for your videos not going against the primal branding like icons? And possibly, if your background is your part of your icon, like in terms of your branding, yeah, it could for sure. That hasn't been part of my primal branding. My branding tends to revolve more around my hat and more around the rituals, and it's almost becoming iconic that people are like, oh, it's going to be different this time. And that can be iconic as well, or that's actually more of a ritual. But yeah, but it could be. So some people can find it, like Rhett and Link, for example. Their background is very iconic. So if they were in a different environment, you would know, like right off the bat, this is a different kind of video. But they could also maybe just take some of those pieces from their background and just put like the guitar that's hanging up on the background and just put that in the background of the field that they're in if they wanted to. But they have a lot of other icons going on too, like their hair, very iconic. They have a lot of rituals that are also iconic as well. Grow your music skills. Asked, but do all the little things change over time as well, so that a little change produces a certain percentage during one time period and produces the negative one time? If you mean that, yes, I test these over a period of time. I've been working on all these I've mentioned today for this entire year. Not all of them all year long, but they've all been ones I've been doing substantial testing with both on my channel and with clients, and these are the ones that I feel pretty confident apply to a lot of different people. But in your case, yeah, don't change huge things all at once unless you just see your channel starting to tank and everything you're trying is not working, it's not turning it around. Then that's when you like really need to re-engage that audience, come up with something new. In fact, you really need to do that before it starts declining and reinvent yourself. That's kind of a different topic I think we've talked about here before, but reinventing yourself before it's too late is very, very important. And to be totally honest with you guys, I've waited too long to do it for myself. My channel's been flat to declining for about the past year, and so that's why I'm like, okay, like I feel motivated to work on some of these things and figure some of this stuff out. And the new creators series, the story series I have coming out, going to be like a complete, not 180-degree turn, but it's going to be like very, very different. And those of you guys who are members have seen that. You know what that looks like. So for those of you guys who are channel members, I'm going to talk with you again in 10 minutes. And if you're not a channel member, either listening to the podcast or you're in the live stream, click that join button, or click the link in the show notes to become a member. And we're going to hop in 10 minutes, we're going to hop into our live stream, call-in live stream. You guys can call in and talk to me. And you actually get to talk to Laura, too, because Laura's going to be manning the phones and putting you guys through. So you get to talk to her, and she has a pretty cool accent from Ireland. So if you like Irish accents, you'll get to talk with her too. So I'm really looking forward, though, just general, if you're watching the replay of this or listening to the podcast of this, please tweet me any thoughts and responses that you guys have. I love that when that happens, and just get to interact with you guys, because that's one thing I don't like about podcasting is like there's very few ways to actually interact. So you can tweet me at Tim Schmoyer, or join the awesome community of people, like hundreds of creators here watching the live stream, interacting with each other, offering ideas, feedback to each other here in the chat. So if you're listening to the recording or the replay of this later, come join us every Monday at youtube.com/video creators at 2 p.m. Eastern time, or just wait for the podcast recording to come to you on Tuesdays, and that'll be fine too. So thank you guys for hanging out. Looking forward to hearing all your feedback and ideas as you guys maybe experiment with other things and test things out on your own, and maybe try some of these things we talked about today. And I will talk with you members here in a few minutes. Thanks, guys. Bye.